7 companies are about to report earnings in the same 5 days, and depending on what they say on those calls, your entire portfolio could look completely different by next Friday. That is not an exaggeration. That is just where the market stands right now, and if you have money in tech, in payments, or even in energy stocks, you need to know exactly what is coming this week before it hits your account. Stick with me for the next few minutes, because I am going to walk you through every single one of these 7 names, what Wall Street expects, where the charts are telling us to watch, and why this particular week could set the tone for the rest of the summer. And if you find this kind of breakdown useful, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button right now, because on Ticker Hawk, we cover these earnings weeks every single time they come around. We go through the numbers, the charts, and the story behind each one, and you do not want to miss the next one. Let us start with the bigger picture, because context matters here, and honestly, if you skip this part, you're going to miss half the reason these earnings even matter this week. The market just closed out a rough stretch. The Nasdaq slipped from around 710 down to the mid-600s, a drop of almost 4% in a matter of days. The S&P held up a little better, but still gave back close to 1.5% from its peak. A lot of that pain has been coming from the artificial intelligence trade, the same group of stocks that carried the market higher for most of the year, now dragging it lower. And technically speaking, the Nasdaq is sitting right on a level that traders are watching closely. If that support gives way, we could see another leg down before things stabilize, and some chart watchers think that next stop could be a good bit lower from here. I'm not saying that to scare you. I am saying it because this earnings week is going to decide which direction we go from here, and that is exactly why so many eyes are locked on these 7 names right now. On top of the earnings, we have a stacked calendar of economic events, honestly one of the busiest weeks I can remember in a while. The Federal Reserve meets this week, and almost nobody expects a rate change this time around, since this particular meeting does not even come with an updated set of economic projections. What people are really watching is the tone of the statement and the question and answer session afterward, because traders are trying to figure out whether the door is open for a rate cut later this year. Rates are expected to stay right around 3.75%. But the voting pattern among committee members could hint at where things are headed into the fall, and every word out of that press conference is going to get picked apart. On the other side of the world, the Bank of Japan is also making a decision this week. And after raising rates back in June, most expect them to hold steady while updating guidance on inflation and their bond buying plans. Do not ignore that one, because global rate moves ripple back into our markets, whether we like it or not, and a surprise out of Japan has moved global stocks before. Then there is the growth data. We are getting the first estimate of second quarter economic growth, and expectations are for the economy to have expanded somewhere around 2.25%, actually an improvement from the first quarter, largely thanks to heavy spending on AI infrastructure and consumers who are still opening their wallets despite everything going on. Right alongside that, we get the Fed's favorite inflation gauge, the Personal Consumption Expenditures Report, which will tell us whether prices are still cooling toward target or starting to stall out. Add in employment cost data, consumer confidence numbers, and durable goods orders, and you have got one of the busiest economic weeks of the entire year sitting right on top of 7 major earnings reports. And let us not forget what is happening overseas in the Middle East, where ongoing tension near key shipping routes keeps oil prices unpredictable, and any escalation there could spill over into every corner of this market fast. All of this is swirling around at the exact same time these 7 companies are stepping up to report, which is exactly why I wanted to break it all down for you in one place. Now let us get into the stocks, because this is what you actually came here for, so let us not waste any more time. First up, Microsoft. Shares fell more than 5% last week alone, continuing a downtrend that has actually been building since late last year, one lower high after another. The stock has found something that looks like a floor in the mid-300s, but it is still printing lower highs on the chart, and there has not been much upward momentum to speak of lately. Every rally seems to get sold into almost immediately. That said, do not confuse a rough chart with a weak business, because this is still one of the most dominant companies on the planet. Analysts are looking for earnings per share of around $4.24, up from $3.65 a year ago, on revenue near $87.5 billion, which would represent close to 15% growth year over year, a very healthy number for a company this size. Zoom out to a longer time frame, though, and Microsoft is still comfortably above its major moving averages, sitting in a long-term uptrend that has held for years. Software stocks broadly have been out of favor this year, and Microsoft, being the largest name in that group, has felt it the most. It reports this Wednesday, and if it can hold that mid-300 level and deliver a clean beat, this could finally be the print that breaks the streak of lower highs. Apple reports on Thursday, and unlike Microsoft, this stock is sitting near all-time highs, heading into the print which honestly surprises a lot of people given everything else going on in tech. That is remarkable when you consider Apple does not carry nearly the same exposure to the heavy AI infrastructure spending that has been weighing on some of its peers. Analysts expect earnings per share around $1.89, up from $1.57 last year, with revenue projected near $109 billion, roughly 16% growth from a year ago. Strong numbers by any measure. The real story to watch here is what Apple does with artificial intelligence inside its own ecosystem, particularly a smarter, more capable voice assistant that has been years in the making. If that rollout lands well, there's a real argument that the market has not fully priced in what that could mean for the next upgrade cycle across hundreds of millions of devices already in people's pockets. Keep an eye on management's commentary around that on the call, because even a small hint of progress there tends to move this stock more than the actual earnings numbers do. Amazon also reports Thursday, and this is one that has been sliding into earnings, down close to 10% over the past couple of weeks, and now approaching a support level it last tested about a month ago. The concern here is the same one hanging over most of these mega cap names, capital expenditures. If spending on data centers and cloud infrastructure keeps accelerating without matching growth in cloud revenue, investors could get nervous and push the stock lower, possibly back toward the low 200s, a level that would have seemed unthinkable not long ago. But here's the flip side. If that dip happens, it may end up being a gift for long-term buyers because of the underlying growth story at Amazon Web Services and in the retail business remains genuinely strong. Analysts are projecting earnings per share near $1.82, up from $1.68, with revenue expected around $196 billion, close to 17% growth year over year, another very solid number. This is a name where the reaction to the cloud numbers and the capital spending commentary will matter just as much as the headline numbers themselves. So pay close attention to what management says about next year's spending plans. Meta reports Wednesday, and this stock has had a rough go of it lately, down more than 10% in under 2 weeks after briefly popping toward the $700 mark and getting a lot of people excited about a breakout. It quickly gave that move back and slid under 600 instead, which tells you how fragile sentiment still is around this name. Out of all the mega cap tech names, Meta gets the most scrutiny on how it plans to actually turn its enormous spending into real returns, and investors have been more skeptical here than with any of its peers for a while now. Still, the growth numbers are hard to ignore. Analysts expect earnings per share around $7.22 versus $7.14 a year ago, but the real headline is revenue, expected near $60 billion, which would be roughly 27% growth year over year, the strongest pace among this entire group of companies. If management can offer any real clarity on monetization plans during the call, this stock has room to recover quickly, and honestly, this could be one of the more interesting reactions to watch this week. Now here is a smaller name that has seen a wild ride into its print, Bloom Energy, and this one has a story worth understanding before the numbers even come out. The stock has been cut nearly in half over the past month after a wave of scrutiny around its supply chain, specifically claims that the company depends too heavily on materials sourced from China for its fuel cell technology. Short sellers have pushed that narrative hard, and it combined with a broader pullback across AI-related infrastructure names to absolutely hammer the stock over just a few weeks. At the same time, well-known voices in financial media have pushed back on that narrative, pointing to Bloom's partnerships with major cloud and data center players as evidence the long-term story is intact and the panic may be overdone. This all comes down to earnings, plain and simple, and how management addresses the questions on the call. Analysts expect 41 cents in earnings per share, up from just 10 cents last year, on revenue near $827 million, more than double what the company did a year ago, a genuinely explosive growth number. If management addresses the supply chain concerns directly and the numbers back it up, this could be one of the sharpest rebound trades of the entire earnings season. But if the concerns get validated instead, this stock could stay under pressure for a while. It reports Tuesday, so we will know very soon which way this goes. Robinhood reports Wednesday, and this has quietly become one of the more interesting stories in the fintech space over the past year. Analysts expect earnings per share roughly flat with last year at 42 cents, but the number that matters more is revenue, projected near $1.28 billion, up close to 30%. From a year ago, a strong pace of growth. Robinhood has been expanding well beyond simple stock trading, pushing into retirement accounts, prediction markets, round-the-clock trading, and crypto access, trying to become the go-to platform for a younger generation of investors who grew up doing everything from their phone. The crypto side of the business is worth watching closely this quarter, since that segment tends to swing hard based on overall market sentiment and where digital assets have been trading. If growth continues at this pace and crypto activity holds up, this is a name that could see a strong reaction once the numbers are out. And it is one that a lot of younger investors are clearly paying attention to right now. Rounding things out, MasterCard reports Thursday morning. And unlike some of the more volatile names on this list, MasterCard is actually showing strength heading into its print, trading near multi-week highs with a constructive-looking chart pattern that a lot of technical traders have been watching closely. Analysts expect earnings per share of $4.78, up from $4.15 a year ago, with revenue projected near $9 billion, about 12% growth year over year. That is solid, steady growth for a company this size, not the explosive numbers you get from some of the smaller names on this list, but consistent and dependable. Exactly what a lot of long-term investors want from a payments giant that has been compounding quietly for years. If the stock can clear its recent highs after earnings, there's a reasonable case for it to keep climbing from there, and this is exactly the kind of steady name that tends to get overlooked during a wild earnings week like this one. Before we wrap up, it is worth stepping back for a second and thinking about how to actually approach a week like this one, because the temptation during earnings season is always to react to every single headline the moment it crosses the screen. A stock drops 5% in the first 10 minutes after hours, and suddenly everyone wants to sell, or a stock jumps and everyone wants to chase it. More often than not, the smarter move is to let the dust settle, read through what management actually said on the call, and separate a one-time headline from a real change in the business. Some of these 7 names could gap hard in either direction, purely off algorithmic trading before a single person has even read the earnings report. So patience over the next few days is going to matter just as much as picking the right stock. I say this every earnings season, and I will keep saying it, because it is the single biggest mistake I see people make when a week like this rolls around. So that is the lineup, 7 completely different stories all reporting within the same handful of days, alongside a Fed decision, a growth report, and an inflation print that could shape the next few months of market direction. This is the kind of week where portfolios can move a lot in either direction, and honestly, that is exactly why weeks like this exist for people who pay attention and do their homework ahead of time instead of reacting after the fact. The volatility that scares some investors away is often where the best opportunities show up for everyone else, and that has been true again and again throughout market history. None of this is financial advice, just my read on the numbers and the charts, so always do your own research before making any decisions with your own money. I want to know which of these 7 you are watching the closest. Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one of them, and I will reply to as many as I can. And if this kind of breakdown helped you get ready for the week ahead, do me a favor and hit that like button. Share it with someone who has money in these names, and make sure you are subscribed here on Tickerhawk so you do not miss how all of this plays out once the numbers actually come in. I will be back with the full reaction as these reports roll in one by one, so stay close, and I will talk to you very soon.